If you can't fire them in 5 seconds, don't hire them. Hello, this is Chris Madesh from KenyaCrypts.com, and in this video we are going to cover the hotel business in Kenya. Before I start this video, I'd like to tell you about a business I run. That's a hotel business I had back in Nairobi. And I'll tell you that it's quite demanding. It's quite demanding. And for the most part, you have to dedicate all your time. Like, especially if you're running for 24 hours, you have to dedicate all your time. Now, this business has there's a lot of money to be made in the hotel industry. There's a lot of money, regardless of whether the business itself is a huge hotel, a small hotel, but there's a lot of money to be made. The problem is if you don't have enough time for the business. Now, unlike some other businesses, like maybe the spare parts business, you can leave someone to run it, and in the evening you can come and do your maths. In the hotel business, you have to be there throughout. Now, this means that it's either you or your wife. If you don't have a wife or a husband, and you are supposed to be in the business 24 hours a day, it gets real tough. Okay, that was my case. I think I was saying or something. Yeah, and the hotel was new, and I was required to be there throughout. Now, one of the problems with this kind of business is that a little mistake can cost you customers. That's why you have to always be there. A little mistake from your employees can cost you customers for a lifetime. This is to say that if you don't supervise how the services are being offered, how the food is being cooked, and how the clients are being served, this comes into the respect of portioning is also very, very important, because some workers might give clients more food than what you've budgeted for. So at the end of the day, you get a negative sum, And you have to always be there and on your toes with the workers in order to start this business. Now, for basic hotel business, let's say a good one, you need at least 500,000 Kenya shillings for a basic hotel. That's the hotels in the towns, not the CBD, but let's say Umoja, those kind of towns, Umoja, Pipeline, Kayole, Juja, Kasarani. You need 500,000 at least. That's what you're talking about if you want to make some returns. Now, for 500, one of the requirements, so that we can budget how you're going to break down your 500,000, one of the requirements is that you have to set aside some cash for rent. Now, I'm assuming you have a basic premises. So let's say it's in a good location. Let's say in Kasarani, you can get a relatively not a bad house at 25,000. Now, you have to pay the deposit, and then you have to cover the rent for the month. And always make sure that you have rent for the next 2 or 3 months. So, for a 500 budget, we are going to put aside 100,000 for the rent. For the deposit and the rent, in 2 months, you'll be running the business. That is 100,000. Okay, now you're left with 400,000. Another requirement is the setup cost. The setup cost involves, you need chairs, seats, you need tables, you need utensils, you need, okay, not the part of the utensils, let the utensils be in another budget. You need a TV screen, maybe a counter, So let's give that 120,000. We're talking about basic hotel. That is, so now you've used 220,000 Kenya shillings. Now you're left with, I think, 280,000 Kenya shillings. Now, you have to get the licenses. Give that the price of 50,000 licenses. Different, you need the permit, you need the health, you need the fire, and also your workers. You are going to employ 3 people. You have to give them some, I think it's 1,000 for them to go and secure their own certificates for health. So give that roughly 50,000. So now we have to 80,000. To 80,000, you're left with 20,000. Now let's talk about the basic utensils. Let's give them like 70,000. Basic utensils, you need plates, you need thermos, you need the refrigerator because of food storage, you need tumblers, you need those basic utensils, you know them, that are required by the hotel. You need the gas cylinder, That one, we're going to give it 70,000. So now we have, but our budget is now at 350. So you've been left with 150 out of our 500. Now the next thing you have to set aside is the supplies. The supplies, you need to buy supplies so that you can start the business. That includes the bales of the unga, the rice, some cereals, maybe you're talking about beans, dengu, and those basic supplies, you need them to start, to kick off. I'll give that 40,000. So now we've been left with like 100. Let's say 100. 100, yeah, roughly. Out of our 500, now we've used 400. We've been left with 100. Now, put aside money for your employees. Remember, you've already put aside money for the rent for the next 2 months, 3 months. The same case, the same way, put aside money for your employees. Now, when I had a hotel, I had 2 employees and I used to pay them daily. I used to give them 300 each per day. So that's 600. That's in a month is 18,000. 18,000, you'll need like 3 months. Now you're assuming we have not even started making any money. That's why we have that money before we start making money. So we have to have that set aside for them so that they don't leave work because you're not paying them. And remember, it's not necessary that the business start paying you immediately. Now we've put aside, okay, we have 18,000. Now in 3 months, that's like 70, that's like 80,000. Now, 80,000 plus our 400, now we have 480. That's our budget for 80,000. Now we've been left with 20K. 20K put away for miscellaneous expenses. Sometimes you find that you might need to transport the seats, you might need to transport the chairs, you might need to install your TV on the wall. So I think you can even say 50,000 for miscellaneous. But in this case, since we've been left with 20,000, let's put that aside for miscellaneous, those small activities that are hidden because of the hidden costs. You have to budget for that. Now, once that is done, you're good to go. You can start a business. You can start your business. Now, I would like us to overview the benefits or the advantages of the hotel business after you've set it up. Now let's assume you've started running it. One of the benefits of the hotel business is that you have daily returns. Remember I told you in my case, I used to pay them 300 each, and there were 2. So after you close shop, you do your calculations. Now, out of the food you've sold, now if the location you put your business is well suited for the business and you have a lot of clients, you'll be able to pay the clients off of the profit for the daily. Now that means that you'll pay them off the profit you've made that day. So you can clear those expenses at the end of the day before they go home, before you let them leave the house, from what you've made that day. You don't need to. It's always good to save because you don't know. For my case, I started and immediately I was able to pay them daily from the money I made that particular day. But since you don't know how it's going to run, you have to put your money aside in case you don't make any returns for the day or enough returns for both of them. You can just go back to your budget and cover. Now, one of the benefits is the daily returns I've mentioned. Daily returns, you can be able to account what you've used, what you've sold, what is remaining, what you've made, and even if you have you have incurred a loss. That is one benefit, daily returns. You can be able to, you can be able to know what you've made that particular day. Another advantage is that it is very easy to grow that business. It is very easy to grow that business. Once you get the right team and you offer the right services, then there's no, it is very easy to grow that. Hotel businesses have been known to make people rich very fast. Once you offer good services with a good team, responsible team, you pay them well, you're good to go. You can grow very fast and you can get rich very fast. That's the second advantage of the hotel business. The third advantage of the hotel business is that it is easy to manage when you have the right time. It is easy to manage when you have the right team. While it is not as easy as such, because of course you have to dedicate all your time. When you have a good team, you can actually manage it without a lot of stress. When you have a good team, you can manage it without a lot of stress. You always say that in business, you must steal, they will always steal. So you can be able to cover sometimes you don't even need to know that they stole, because the mathematics are adding up and you still have your profit, so there's no loss. With a good team, it is easy to manage a hotel. With a bad team, it is a nightmare. And the fourth advantage of running a hotel business is that you can increase your income by running 24 hours. Okay, there are some locations that you can't manage to run 24 hours, but others you can. Locations such as Kasarani, you can run 24 hours. Pipeline, you can run 24 hours. Those towns with a lot of people activities and a lot of young people, you can run 24 hours and you still make money around the clock. So that is another advantage as compared to other kinds of businesses. The fifth advantage of the hotel business is that with the right service, you'll always have customers. People will always need food to eat. So it all depends now with the services you're offering them. With the right services, clients will always flock to your place. The right services come in handy when you are spending your time there throughout. That is now the issue, where the issue comes in. If you don't have enough time to spend in your hotel, then you have a problem with offering right services. And that translates to clients looking for other places which are better than yours, because now you're not in the premises, so you don't know how the food is being served, whether they're serving fresh food, whether the food is a little bit salty. So that comes back to giving your time to the hotel and being always available. Those are the various advantages, and I think you can manage them. Especially if you have a wife, you have a husband, one of you can be there when the other is doing other things. Those are the benefits. And with benefits comes the drawbacks. There are various challenges with hotel business that, as usual, easy to accommodate, as long as you're willing to give it all and you're willing to get rich. One of the disadvantages is that it is very engaging. You don't even have time to relax. It is very, very engaging. Very, very demanding. Regards to work, regards to time, it is very, very demanding. There's no shortcut. You have to be ready for that. Another problem with the hotel business is that food can go bad easily, especially when you're starting and you don't have enough clients, you don't even know how to preserve your food. Food can go bad easily, and that translates to losses. This means that while you're budgeting for the items, you have to budget for storage facilities. You have to get the freezer. You have to know how food is packed. The food that is left, that is not sold for the day, how it is packed. And if you're running for 24 hours, you don't have such a problem. It's not really a big problem. What you do is you can start small, cook small food, and then as the clients increase, you can just increase your supply, your food, the amount of food you're cooking. That is another problem of storage. Food can go bad easily. And the last problem, I think, is dealing with workers. Some workers may not show up, man. Some workers may not show up. That's another problem. In this case, you're paying them daily. Okay, if you decide to pay them daily, Now they don't have, you don't have their money. So even if they don't come tomorrow, they don't have anything to lose. Even if they don't come tomorrow, they don't have anything to lose. So you must always be prepared to go to the kitchen yourself. If they don't show up, do it yourself. I remember when I was running, some lady I had employed did not show up. So what I did is, only one showed up. So the one who showed up, prepared, they used to share their responsibilities. So the one who came, prepared, at that morning we were preparing chapati and bosho. So she prepared them bosho, and we decided, because we don't have enough time, we are going to buy chapati from a different hotel and come and serve as our own. So you have to always be prepared. You yourself, you can also get in the kitchen and start cooking. It's not like, if they don't show up, I'm going to close shop. No, that is not how you run your business. Because even if you close shop, your clients will be like, this shop is not always open. We can't rely on that. Let's eat somewhere else. Let's eat down before we go home. We can't rely on that. It's always closed. So you have to be hands-on. It's not always daily that you have the workers in. Some will refuse to come. Some will never show up ever, and you didn't have an issue with them. So I think that I would compare that to having a house help, and the next morning she's gone. You're expecting her to come back, but she doesn't return. That is the same case with these workers, especially if you're paying them daily. You pay them today, you're in good terms, but tomorrow they don't show up, and they won't tell you that they're not coming. So you can expect them to come, but they won't. And there's a problem with that, especially if you're not ready to get your feet dirty. I think those are the various shortcomings, and from the way I see it, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. The hotel business is a booming business. It's perfect, and it's a good one. You don't have anything to fear. So my final comments, I'd say that because I tried the business, although I did not run it for too long because I had other commitments, and I found that I don't have the time. I think you can do it, and I advise you, if you don't have the time, if you have another job, if you're not going to be running it yourself, do not even think about it. But if you want to start, you'll be there throughout. It's a job for you. Returns daily. You don't have to wait a monthly to know the profits you made that month. Daily profits, and that's the beauty of it. And it can grow in a short time. And I advise you to think about it, and if you want to join it, be ready to get your feet dirty. Be ready to get your feet wet. And with that, check me out next time.